So, Sony has released what I believe is the new king of mirrorless cameras, the Sony A1 with 8K video out of a 50 megapixel sensor. But will this thing overheat like the R5? Let's discuss. What's going on, my friends? It's Jason here. I hope you're all doing well. Just make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel because a lot of my viewers aren't subscribing to my channel, so I'd really appreciate it if you did. Hit that bell notification so you can be notified when my next videos come out. But yeah, we're here to talk about the new Sony A1. Now, the biggest features I am excited about this camera is pretty much the photography specs. 30 frames per second with an electronic shutter at 50 megapixels. Now it has a new 759 autofocus points, and they claim to have removed the banding from fluorescent lights, which is really, really handy if you are shooting in fluorescent light situations. Now, we can't look past the 8K video capabilities here. Now, Sony have done a great job talking about the photography capabilities. Yes, like that was probably the problem with Canon when it came to the marketing. They wanted to make it look like it was an 8K video camera, when in all sort of seriousness it did overheat, and it's more of a photography camera that has the capabilities of shooting 8K, which essentially is just like the A1. Now, the new Sony Alpha A1 is pretty much in its own line. It has an 8.6K 50 megapixel sensor that's capable of recording up to 30 frames per second in 8K and 4K at 120 frames per second. Now, this includes the S-Cinetone profile that is included in all their cinema range cameras. And it has 10-bit 422, but 8K 24, 25, and 30 has only 10-bit 420 codec. So if that's an issue, then, you know, that's too bad. But I mean, it's 8K, so that's incredible. I mean, all this as well, they claim the standard 15 stops of dynamic range. Now, that's incredible. But they have added the record limit of 30 minutes in 8K. I think also 4K 60 and 4K 120 has a 30-minute limit as well. I'm not 100% sure, but you know, is this gonna overheat? 8K in a small body, it's pretty much the same size body as the A7S series, and you've got the 8K. I mean, it does have a dual Bions processor, so it's the processing is tons better, but it is 50 megapixels, so that is concerning. Is it? What do you guys think? Will this thing overheat? It is a very small body. They're gonna have to do something pretty substantial, so I'm not 100% sure on that, but yeah, let me know what you guys think anyway. But where essentially does this camera sit? Now, I've been racking my brain of where this sits in the lineup. I'm really having a hard time trying to figure this out. Now, they've obviously got the A9 series, the A7 series, the A7S series, the A7R series, and the new A7C series. Now, in terms of photographic purposes, I guess it would be more similar to the A9 II and the A7R4. Now, I do feel it leaves the A9 II a little bit behind because it is twice the amount of resolution. It has a higher frames per second in burst mode. It just seems to cannibalize the A9 series altogether. Like, what do you guys think? Where does this camera sit? But yeah, at this price point, you know, it is pretty high. It comes in at about 6,500 US right now. That's pretty ridiculous because the A9 II comes in at 4,500 US, and the A7R4 and the A7S3 comes in at 3,500 US. You know, it's almost twice the price of an A7R4. What do you guys think of that? Is it priced accordingly? Because I think it is the new flagship camera. It has pretty much everything you've ever needed in a camera. I think it is priced accordingly. You know, this is very similar to the price of the Ace, the FX6, the brand new FX6. It's only 500 US more than the FX6, and that is a cinema camera. So I guess the FX6 obviously has a whole bunch more customizable features. So yeah, it's really interesting where this one sits. Especially they did cap it at 30 minutes, so they don't really want it to be a video camera. Obviously, you'd probably want to buy the FX6 series or even the A7S series. It also doesn't have the flip screen. It seems to just have that flip up or tilt up screen, which, you know, is perfectly fine for photographers. They don't need a flip out screen. It also doesn't have the record button at the top. which is very interesting because my A7S III has a record button at the top, but I've actually programmed the record button to be at the back, pretty much where my A7 III series is, right there. It's a really natural position for me to press the record button as opposed to the top. But my tilter cage kind of makes it very difficult for me to press that record button at the top. So at the left-hand side of the camera, you'll notice that there's another dial there. So that's where you can change what kind of shooting mode you're in, which is very handy. You know, that is pretty much what photographers need, so they don't have to start diving into the menu. So you can see that the body is very aimed at high-end professional photographers, which, like I said, leads me to think, where does the A9 series sit? Because the A9 series is meant to be the flagship camera, but I feel like this one is the new flagship camera because they call it the A1 or the one. But yeah, photographers who use external flash will be very happy because it can sync up to 1/400th of a second when it comes to shutter speed, which is really good. It also includes the RJ5 cord, so if you want a wire connection through to the camera directly into your device, that is really good for those kind of photographers. You know, it is perfect timing for professionals covering the Olympic Games. So this camera might actually be the one for you, especially with that 759 phase detection autofocus points on that. And the new Sony CF Express Type A cards, it does accept that. Just like the A7S III has got the dual slots, which can also do SD cards as well. But you know, if you are shooting at those high frame rates, CF Express Type A definitely is the go. I have not regretted getting that type of card. But what do you guys think? Will this be something that you would be considering buying? You know, $6,500 US. It's interesting. It might not be for regular consumers. We're thinking high-end professionals or high-end videographers potentially. That could be their next step in what they want to be purchasing. Comment below what you guys think. Other than that, guys, it's a quick, short video on this. I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, let's get it.